Welcome to Karsten Uncut, Episode 1, Why Personal Relationships Matter. I said in my previous episode that it's always personal and also business. And I very much insist on that statement because your business success will very much depend on how you're capable to build a personal relationship with your counterparts. I'll give you two examples of it. One was from a negotiation I was leading a couple of years back. And when I started to enter the negotiation, I looked into the room and I saw everybody was very much on a defense position on their side, not really willing to give in, not really willing to have a dialogue. And last time I checked, dialogues are typically pretty good to get an agreement because if everybody just says this is what I want without listening to the other side, it doesn't help and it doesn't get you to your goal, which is to make the best possible deal. So, what did I do? I looked into the room and tried to find out to whom it was more personal than just a deal, than just getting things that we had to give as a concession versus of getting the right deal. And when I spotted that one person, I made it possible for us to really build a personal relationship. In one email, I just simply replied with my email footer, which normally includes my cell phone number, which purposefully I have avoided until then with all of them. I think it took 2 to 5 minutes after I hit send that my phone rang and exactly this one person called me. First call, I will not lie, was around 4 hours. And we talked about a lot of things. It was a post-COVID time, so really how we're doing, how I was coping with it, how different it was in Spain versus it was, for example, in Germany, etc. So it was a really, really good conversation. And these calls started to repeat over and over and were always more or less in this 2 to 3 hour time frame, which at first I thought, wow, this is going to get intense. But I thought it was great because I got to understand the other side and I got also to understand really what the personal goals of the other side were, beside the business goals. By the way, my personal goals were not that different, right? And just on my side of the table. So being able to talk about it helped us to build a much closer bond, to really sit also down together and understand, okay, in the business negotiation, these are the 5 things that are really important to me, and in this order. And the same thing I got from the other side. So we both knew what was important and especially why it was important. Always remember Simon Sinek, always start with why. This is true in any negotiation. Why do you want something? That is a key question, never forget to ask it. Well, we came to a successful conclusion of the contract in time and everything. Everybody was super happy and excited about it. And it really created a strong bond. After that, we started to call each other by our first name, not necessarily something that is super normal. And we also spent more time together. We still talk, right? I still invest time into this friendship because I really mean it. It is important to me. And guess what? Having a personal relationship does not only get me an open door. It most of the times gets me the door open first. And that's where you really want to be, instead of your competition who might come in second or third, and then you will have to cope with whatever somebody else has already pitched. So try to be the first one. Make it personal. And by the way, people sense very easily when you do not mean it, when you just say it. So mean what you actually say. That will make you even more authentic. And be who you are. Show where you're vulnerable, show where you're strong. It does really, really help you to build that bond. And the second story I wanted to share with you was from a completely different angle. We started off at a lunch where we both made a little more snidey remarks, picking each other a little bit and seeing how the other one reacts. And it was interesting because we immediately understood, hey, this is a non-bullshit person. This is somebody who really says what he thinks. This is how we can do things. This is how we cannot do things. It doesn't mean that our ideas have to always be the same, but it started to work. I think for 2 or 3 years, we didn't really have any real business opportunity. But still, we talked on the phone. When I was in town, I said, hey, are you around? Can we have lunch? And just talk a little bit. We talked about their products, our products, what's new, what's ticking. Exchange some stories that are happening to us in our lives. But when then the real business moment came, we were able to sit down at the table in exactly that same manner and say, okay, this is the way we can do things. This is one thing that we should think about again. I got a lot more guidance on where maybe we need to look at that we have weak points, understand those weak points, right? Because they were real valuable inputs that we got in order to make our position stronger. But even most important, there is a moment that is called when the shit hits the fan, and there's two kinds of people. There's those who run and those who stay. When the shit hits the fan in our case, I stayed. I was the one taking with very, very few others all the heat from the customer, understanding what happened, also be apologetic, because honestly, we really messed up in that one sense. But being there to listen, being there to try to find solutions, and then moving whatever is needed to move to get to the right resolution, to get to the right way forward for both of us, was the one thing that brought us over the line. And I will never forget the line that he said to me when everything was done. Without you and me, this deal would never have happened. And yes, we all work for money, that's fine. But truly, hearing that from a customer, to me, is one of the biggest rewards I can possibly get. So making it personal is absolutely vital. It will get you into the pole position. Thank you very much for tuning in, and I'm looking forward to share more with you on episode 2 on Karsten Uncut. Have a good day, and bye-bye.